All right, we are now heading to the prayer tent.
To the prayer tent, you'll see those yellow signs over there where that's where you can sign up. This afternoon at 3:45 up in the food court, the pool is being set up now. That's not for swimming. It's for the baptism later in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. Pastor Harry will give the instructions.
Hey, we've never been down here.
We want you to be there about 3:45, especially if you're involved in being baptized. So come early. And in the meantime, we would like to encourage you to still making decisions about the Lord, or maybe you're fighting some battle in your own self, and you want someone to pray with you about that battle, that personal battle, that which brought you here to get healing. And go over to the prayer tent anytime. We'll have people there throughout the day to pray with you especially. And then tonight for the evening, we'll be over in the Cliff House as the prayer tent after the speaker. Thanks once again for supporting us.
I love getting shots of the Columbia River.
God bless you all.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
There it is again.
Listen, just a little rundown on what's happening at Fringe Stage. 12 o'clock, Elliot, that's our search winner for Saturday. And then at 1 o'clock, Children 18-3. 2 o'clock, Ivory Line. 3 o'clock is the seminar time, and that'll be Pastor Tim. And then at 4, Showdown. 5, Classic Crime. Good stuff going on. That starts Fringe Stage, kicking off at 12 noon. We are ready to move forward here. I want you to gather in and prepare your hearts for the word. The lady I'm going to introduce to you is Charisma Magazine recently called her one of the top 30 emerging voices leading us and leading the next generation of the church. She's written several books, including the critically acclaimed Organic God and The Sacred Echo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Margaret Feinberg.
This morning, what I had hoped to do was simply be myself and share a little bit of my own story. Because more and more I find the Spirit of God saying, you be you and you be mine. And when I am most fully myself and most fully His, I am in the best possible place. So I wanted to share a bit of my story as well as a question that I have wrestled with for a number of years. As some of you know, I grew up in a little bit of an unusual background in that I was raised by a Jewish father who came to recognize Yeshua as the Messiah and a Gentile mother. And so I was raised in a Christian home with hues of Judaism, and at the end of the day, I make a pretty great bowl of matzo ball soup. While growing up, I attended public school, private school, Christian school.
Oh, that must be the prayer tent right there.
And I still think that I'm recovering. I just don't know from which one. When I graduated from high school, I was one of those really ambitious ones. And more than anything, I wanted to go to a prestigious school in Washington, D.C. and study
yeah, you're getting old.
And it was a fabulous plan for my life, except for one little problem. I didn't get in. And instead, I ended up in a small liberal arts school in the mountains of North Carolina. And while I was there my freshman year, I began engaging in a little extracurricular activity better known as partying like a rock star.
Partying like a rock star.
While I managed to get the A's in my transcript, I got the B's in life. Namely the boys, the beer, and the Ben and Jerry's. But I had a praying mama. And as some of you know, praying mamas are some of the most powerful people on the planet. And at the end of that freshman year, I remember my youth pastor called and he said, Margaret, there is a Christian conference that I really think that you need to go to. And so I did. Then while I was there, all I can describe it is it was like God grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and He said, you are my child and I have called you by name. Come back to me. And I began turning my life around. And I began spending so much time in this book that I actually ended up becoming a religion major. Well, fast forward 4 years, and I am now a religion major.
So where's it at?
Liberal arts school in the mountains of North Carolina. And people were looking at me and saying, well, what are you going to do with that? And I had no idea. And so I began throwing out applications in all directions, and the one that stuck was to a
Where
small
are we going
Christian
after?
magazine in Lake Mary, Florida, where I could be an intern.
Neither do I.
So I traveled down to Florida and I
Been here
spent the
for 4 days
summer where I
and still
learned a
haven't
few
seen it
very
all.
important things about myself. Number
It's
one, that I
enormous.
was not meant for a cubicle.
This is
Number two, that I did
incredible.
not like a commute.
This
And number
is the
three,
Gorge
I
Amphitheater
really
right
loved
here.
money.
Imagine when it's
Well, at the end of that summer, there weren't
This
really any
whole
jobs.
area right here.
And I remember just thinking,
This
what
is the
am I going
mosh
to do? And my
pit.
mom called. And she said, Margaret, your dad
this
and
is
I are
usually
going on a
full of
mission
people during the
to
concert.
Honduras. Would you like to go? And I remember thinking, well, I don't know. And then she said the magic words, we'll pay. And I was so there. And so I went down and I spent several months in Honduras thinking maybe this is what God has for my life. But honestly, they were some of the most difficult months of my life. I remember getting sick. I remember getting robbed at knife point. I remember at one point going to the longtime missionaries in Honduras and telling them my story and saying, is this normal? And they looked at me and they said, no, go home. And so about a year after college graduation, I ended up doing what so many college graduates do when they have no idea what they want to do with their life. And I moved back in with mom and dad. And while I am living with them, I am praying and I am saying, Lord, I want to serve you with my life. I want to honor you. Just tell me what to do. But as I am praying and crying out to God, I do not hear anything. Nada, not a
Are you staying cool?
and that is when I began turning the question around and asking myself, everything with my life, and if time and money were not factors.
$3.
In other words, if all the jobs on the planet from the very highest to the very lowest, all
K-Love.
$3 an hour, what would I want to do?
Hit him up.
It really helped.
I only had one answer. I wanted to write. In fact, I wanted to write more than I wanted to eat, which is a good thing because most writers go on to be starving artists. And so I took those clips from that
but it
summer
made me laugh really
internship. I
hard.
wrote a hundred
Really
and I said,
hard.
hi.
Are you staying cool in the heat?
Oh,
Good. Good.
God bless you.
The back of your magazine. Because I knew
Yes, he did.
confidence with that small and small piece. But I could work my way up, and slowly I did, from reviews to news stories, to feature stories, to cover stories, until in 2000, relevant books published my first book. And since then, I've had the privilege of sharing the story not only of what God has been doing in my
Hey, we
life,
found it.
but what He's
Prayer
been doing
tent.
in our generation.
It's right here, you guys.
There's the prayer tent if you need baptism sign-ups, if you want prayer. Here's the ones to sign up.
Should I do?
Oh, I'm Ben
All set, okay?
And yet when I look back over the years that I've been living and the
there's
places
actually
that
a
God
little
has taken me,
right there.
one of the things that I can't
So this is
help
something
but
I'm
notice
Correct.
is that we tended to move around a whole lot as a family, and some of you know what that is like. And I remember that in all the different places that we lived, whether it was Florida or North Carolina or Colorado, that wherever we lived, we kind of went to a different church. And so sometimes when people ask me, what is your church background, I will tell them that I am a hybrid or a mutt. And I remember in going to these different churches, one of the questions that I always had
Oh, great.
was,
Thank
how
you.
did you hear from God? Because I don't know about you, but growing up, I knew that God was real. I knew that
Hey,
God
I want to
was
get a shot of Columbia River before I shut this off.
and I knew that that relationship
Really
meant
close here.
prayer. It meant listening and it meant speaking. And while talking to God,
She's like crazy, but she's
and listening was a whole lot more difficult. And I remember in these different churches that we would go to, I would ask people, how do you hear from God? And based on the spectrum of the denomination, I would get wildly different answers. And so maybe if I was way over here in one of these churches and I was able to chase the woman running down the